into that next section, sets it up, just places it there, tags the lip, and will ride out clean. So Fanny Buellman chasing a 4.19.
Yeah, she timed that last turn perfectly, where she was working with the wave, not against it. As you see her getting up to her feet, as it's, you know, it's starting to get a little backwashy and lumpy when you're trying to get to your feet, but she just very gracefully hits that last in section and works really well with, you know, the power of the wave coming back down.
So 8 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. Surfer in white still in the lead, a 3.77 as a high score. And Fanny has dropped in a score that's high enough to jump her into second. So Fanny Buellman now chasing a 2.64 to take the second place position, which keeps her in the top tier. Vanessa Cortez down into fourth, chasing a 3.13 to put herself up into that top tier position as well. And Fanny has grown up, born and raised in Switzerland, does a lot of snowboarding, just well-rounded snow person, but learned how to surf in Brittany in France, and is the took third place in the last Swiss Open Championships. So she's got a great competitive career, as we saw Lorena just go down.
Yeah,
our
I'm curious
surfer from
what just went wrong there with Lorena, because that was kind of uncharacteristic. So she must have had something going on, whether it was her leash or something. But hopefully she'll just shake that off, paddle back out. She's got to work her way back through priority, which with 7 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this heat, you know, getting yourself back up the food chain, you got to make, you know, you got to wait for other people to take a wave, or you grab scraps, which sometimes people do better when the pressure's off and they're just grabbing the scraps, the leftovers. And other times people thrive in having and holding that priority.
We saw that in yesterday's heat with Gabriel Medina. Got the scores that he needed to put himself in the lead, and then never even paddled properly out to backline again, freed him up, just started taking off on every little thing. And it was amazing to see, as we're looking at our surfers in the next heat. That is Mathia Olin from Canada, 2 Canadian competitors.
Another sister rivalry. Like, I don't want to say rivalry. When I say that, if anybody watching, you have siblings, you know what I mean when I say rivalry. Like, you're always so competitive with your siblings, and sometimes your rivalries might be your next door neighbor, you know. It could be, you know, whoever you're growing up surfing with. But for these girls that we're going to see, I call them girls because they're still very young, you know, they have each other to feed off each other and push each other, and we've been seeing so many sibling stories today. It's crazy.
So they'll be heading out into the lineup next. Have a look at this set that's rolling through. So we're expecting some big surf coming up over the next couple of days. We know it's supposed to start peaking tomorrow, but hold through the rest of the week. It might be so big, from what I've been hearing, Jody, that it starts to close out here at La Bocana, and we'll have to move over to El Sunzal.
Yeah, and I think, you know, El Sunzal, from where we sit here, it looks, you know, it looks like it breaks much farther out. There's a point there, and it looks like it's, you know, breaks into a bay, so it will be able to handle, you know, more size. So it's good to have a plan A and a plan B. So I'm excited to see, you know, what this next swell brings. Hopefully it doesn't max everything out, but we've got the best surfers in the world here, so I'm sure they're going to put on a show.
It's going to be an exciting show to watch. Coming down to the last 5 minutes, see all the women checking back, maybe having a look for where their coaches are, making sure that those priority situations, that they're all in the loop for everything that's going down. We have an amazing team of beach announcers as well, multilingual beach announcers. That's a job that
Gender.
Absolutely. We've got Ixa on the team from Chile. She has been the coolest. We've been roommates this week, and she's been out there giving great scores in both English and in Spanish. And she's been a really cool force in the Spanish side of broadcast over the years. As we see Lorena Fica from Chile, Ixa's teammate, going up under the lip, tags it.
Yeah, that has to feel pretty good for her after what happened to her on the last,
All right, so with priority, that was Vanessa Cortez that went down. Surfer in blue. We saw another surfer pull out the back of the wave, but Where do you think Lorena's mind is at right now?
I think she feels pretty vindicated after, you know, it's always kind of embarrassing when you eat it in a heat. And so then she just did a really great under the hook, as we see Fanny just kind of taking a look at that right. But yeah, Lorena had a really nice, powerful under the hook snap, so that had to have been pretty gratifying for her, and she's probably shaken that other wave off.
Coming down to the last few minutes, waiting for scores to drop in for last of Lorena Fica. She is a 5-time Chilean national champ, so she's got some experience under her belt when it comes down to the gritty end, getting the scores that she would require.
Scrappy competitors are the scariest competitors to have in your heat.
With a strong paddle from Valencia. Little carve back into the pocket. Patiently waiting for this wave to wall up in front of her, and times the finishing turn almost to perfection. And an answer back now from our surfer in yellow. Fanny's chasing a big score of a 2.64. And this inside section's gonna get nice and powerful, so she manages to tag the lip. She's riding out clean, so we got a couple scores to drop in. Last of Valencia went incomplete at the finish, but she's sitting with just a 3.77 and a 2.37 on her high scores. And a strong paddle. I love seeing these two women. They know there's only a couple minutes left, but it's worth them putting in that fight to get out to backline again and have one more opportunity.
Yeah, you see those couple of ledges there at the beginning of that wave. For Valentina just hooking in, staying busy. Nice closeout maneuver there. Rides out of it. Just not super clean, but she hangs on.
So scores to come through, and a big paddle. We can see our two competitors, Fanny and Valencia, in the right-hand side of the screen, paddling back through that rip to try and make it out to that takeoff zone again. Meanwhile, in priority, Lorena Fica, our surfer in red, has a strong paddle. The Chilean, the 5-time Chilean champion. That's an unfortunate move. She has moved herself up into the lead with her last wave, which sends Valencia down into second. And now priority sits with our surfer in 4th position, Vanessa Cortez, the El Salvador local from just up the road in Mizata. Lorena has a look there, unable to get into it. And Valencia, scores drop in, it jumps her back into the lead. So there's this battle back and forth now between first and second Jody.
Yeah, it's not a super high scoring heat, as you can see. You know, the highest score being that 3.77 from Valentina. Yeah, I mean, you guys, everybody's in the same boat together out there. And so everybody's surfing the same conditions. They're in the same currents. They're dealing with the same lump and bump and swell. And so it's really switching up your mindset to, you know, wrapping your head around, okay, what can I do to get myself in the advancing position? That's all that really matters, is giving yourself that opportunity.
Counting down to the final 20 seconds, we can see a bigger set closing out for the right. It's been mostly lefts this afternoon. This morning there was a few really nice rights on offer, same as yesterday here at La Bacona, and now a big right opening up in front of Valentina. Great snap under the lip to start off with.
Well, that's her little victory lap. She's feeling pretty good, which normally you would never feel pretty good with a 3.77 and a 2.70, but she's done enough to take that heat, and Lorena Fica will be moving on as well.
And there we have it, heat number 10 done and dusted. Valentina and Lorena advancing into the main round. We'll be right back after this.
Música Pop 98.9. Compartir Pop.
Did a full
98.9. compartir. Impresionante.
Escucha.
98.9.
There's a right time for everything. A right time to learn. A right time to try. A right time to fall. There's a right time to face yourself. A right time to enjoy pleasures. To make friends. There's a right time to find your wave. And there's a right place to enjoy your passion like nowhere else.
Regresó el sol, las olas y el surf. Y regresaron con Golden y Golden Extra, las cervezas más refrescantes de El Salvador. Filtradas en frío, perfectas para refrescarte en todo momento. Disfruta de lo mejor del Mundial de Surf con lo más refrescante de El Salvador. Golden, cerveza oficial del Mundial de Surf.
Experience the magic of high-speed broadband.
And welcome back to the action here for heat number 11, women's round 2 at the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. Currently in the lineup, we have Mahina Meira representing Japan, Mathia Olin representing Canada, Bethany Zelasco representing Canada, and Daisy Valdez representing the Philippines. It is a stacked heat. We know so many of these names so well, and we're so excited to get to know the ones that we don't know as well. The standard of surfing has been unbelievable today, and we expect nothing less as we come into the final few heats of the afternoon. Up and riding, our surfer in yellow, Bethany Zelasco, with a quick in and out to start things off. My name is Shannon Hughes, joined in the booth by Jody Nelson. Jody, it's been a pleasure to call heats with you today.
It's been a pleasure to call heats with you, my friends. You've been doing a great job. I can't do your job, so.
Well, I can't
barely
do
do
your
my
job
job.
either. As we see, we can't do, well, you could do this job. Mahina Maeda smashing it through to the inside. Born and raised on the north shore of Oahu in Hawaii, representing Japan, and has spent some time living there through her adult years just to get to know her home culture, and now representing them in hopes of maybe the Olympics in the future.
Yeah, she's a force. She is just a force. You know, I'm having flashbacks to Miyazaki 2019, and you know, she had a great result there, and I'm super excited to see her. I never really understood why surfers go and compete, or skaters for other countries, but I had some of the skaters tell me last week when I was at the last Olympic qualifier for skateboarding. Lizzie Armanto, who is from Oceanside, she said it perfectly. She said, we want to put forward the best representation on the biggest stage in the world with the best skaters in the world. And so that's why Lizzie could have skated for Team USA, but she decided to go to Finland to open up another spot for Team USA. And I think, you know, a lot of people are like, well, why Tatiana's from Hawaii, Mahina is from Hawaii, why are they going to Japan and Brazil? Well, it's because there's only so many spots. Skateboarding, there's only 3 per country.
Surfing, there's only 2.
Surfing, there's only 2. So, I mean, Team USA gets super stacked real quick, and, you know, it's smart. It's actually smart for the sport as a whole to put the best foot forward. Not that there aren't talented women from all over, and men, from all over the world to represent our sport, but it just, there's not a lot of slots.
It's very few, especially heading into the Olympics this year. It's the very first time that that surfing has been approved for the Olympics, which is such an exciting time. As we take a look, though, at live action, we'll get back to more of that conversation on the Olympics. Up and riding, representing Canada, Bethany Zelasco, straight out of Southern California. Great style. She's been spending so much time here in preparation for this event. Team Canada arrived way early.
Yeah, and I was flashing back to, I've been part of a lot of ISAs, so flashing back to the ISA juniors where Mattia, Team Canada, and her sister were both represented, but her sister is a lot younger, so now, this is the big girl, this is the women's World Surfing Games, and the Groms will have their day where they get the call up, but right now I see Paige Alm's name on the list here coming up for Team Canada as well.
Mahina waiting for this wave to open up. Nice big carve. Keeping tons of speed. Love that low compression.
That training coming in.
And as we wait for that score to come through, we're going to go down to the beach to catch up with another one of our wonderful surfers. Thanks so much, Chris Cote.
Flying the flag of Team Nicaragua, Valentina Rosano went out there. You did your job. You got a heat win. You're moving through into the next round. An extremely stacked field of surfers, the biggest ever for the women's field. A lot of weight put on that win, so congratulations. Tell me about competing out here at La Bocana compared to El Sunzal where you were surfing earlier.
Yesterday we surfed over there. Over there we have kind of more of like a long point break. Right here is a little bit of a punchier beach break. Honestly, I feel like out here is like a lot more difficult. Like the spot moves a little bit and like you get a lot of sets on the head. I know that last one. We got a few sets. Both waves are like really fun. They each have like their advantages. Like you get to surf like really nice long waves, but here it's like steeper and you get lefts and rights. So both are super fun, super stoked to be here.
Now, most of the surfers competing come from a surfing family. I know your dad is a hard-charging surfer, but the big story here, 3 sisters competing for Team Nicaragua. You're the big sister, you're leading the way. Tell me what it's like being on a team with both of your little sisters.
It's really fun to be on a team with my sisters because usually people are close with their team, but I get to be extra close with my team, and we're always out here like supporting each other, and my sister just made her heat too, so we're both like, it's really exciting to like be with them. We've been surfing together like our whole lives and coming to like these events for like a really long time, so we're just happy to keep doing it.
Yeah, the Rosana team bubble started at birth, so now moving forward, you're going to be going up against some big names. How are you feeling moving into this competition? Are you fighting for that one of those 7 spots in the upcoming Olympic Games?
Definitely like the Olympics is like the final goal, but honestly I'm just taking it heat by heat because you never know what's going to happen and what the conditions are going to be like. So it's just heat by heat, and I'm happy to be here for the experience. Like even if I get like a super stacked heat, I'm just happy to surf and to like just participate in this like really historic event.
Valentina Rosano doing big things here at the ISA World Surfing Games. Congratulations and good luck moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, I love Valentina. What a great young woman. 17 years old, leading the pack for her sisters, little sister 15, little sister 12 years old, all 3 of them representing here. And looking for a hope for the future.
I just want to say, anyone watching at home, young athletes, media training, practice, learn how to answer questions, because she just set a really good example of, it's hard to articulate, and when you're young, you get nervous in front of the camera, but, the sport's going to the Olympics. You have to do interviews, and it's so important for all these young women to, and men to get that experience in front of the camera, and I was just really impressed with her poise in that interview.
As we saw a quick flash of Bethany once again. Mahina taking charge, looking really comfortable in these bigger conditions. Great carve and times it perfectly on the finish. She's looking really silky smooth out there today. So many waves to be caught. Bethany again on the inside. She's staying really active. She's been spending a lot of time here. Great opening carve. A lot of maturity coming through in Bethany surfing. Nice little wrap back into the foam once again. And let's take another look at that one.
Wow, that was a huge wrapping carve by Mahina. And I'm sure her coach, Barton Lynch, is at home watching, cheering her on as we see Mahina up and riding once again on this little insider. Smart to pick off this little insider because it's offering a nice clean section. She's able to get a few maneuvers there on the inside. And, you know, we were talking earlier, Shannon, not on when we were off air, but about Mahina's training. And she's a teacher in Gymnastica, and her core is so strong. And you see that in her surfing. We saw a lot of women earlier falling off where those two power parts of the wave are converging. But Mahina's able, with that core body strength and that leg strength that she gets with the training from Kid Pelegro, and now she's actually running classes. She run tings out there. She's doing classes. When I was in North Shore last, I really wanted to take a class with her. I would love to do Gymnastica as we see Mattia up and riding, just coming unstuck there. But training, media training,
training of all
physical
sorts.
training, mental training.
It really pays off. I mean, that media training with Valentia, either that or she's just an absolute natural in front of the camera as we take another look at Bethany Zelasco.
Yeah, she just does a down carve there, waiting for the wave to stand up, kind of hopping through those sections. And I know, you know, listening to coaches over the years, she likes that, I can tell, but listening to coaches over the years, they always say instead of the bunny hop deal, it's better, the judges like it better when you S-turn through those flat sections because it's another way of generating speed instead of hopping, but it's just, it's more speed, power, flow, part of the criteria as we see Daisy Valdez up and riding. I actually saw her earlier on the beach cheering on her teammates, and she had like a Tita Tavares kind of, I'm showing my age, that's my generation. Not to talk about myself, but no, just kidding. But Tita, like that shorter, compact stance, and I when I saw Daisy met her earlier, she's a little powerhouse, and when I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see her surf, because you know when you see somebody, they just look very athletic, but also like almost like a gymnast, like, and then she's small, compact, so that was my first way of seeing her surf.
Mahina Maeda currently sitting up in the lead. Bethany Zelasco in second. Daisy Valdez in third, and Mathia Oline in fourth. And 7 minutes on the clock, and we love seeing these stories of teams representing and supporting the Philippines flag flying high on the shoreline. Teammates enduring the conditions that are on offer here in El Salvador to support each other is such an amazing thing.
When you say conditions out here, watching on the screen, you know, we are currently inside in the nice air-conditioned room. You quickly forget what it's like outside, but when I'm out there doing sideline, it is hot. When the athletes are coming in, they're like almost overheating because there is no refreshment in that water. I think it's like 84 degrees out there. And from Canada, you're used to wearing booties and a hoodie to like being blazing hot.
Well, Mathia loves surfing in cold water. She's born and raised in Canada. That's where she learned how to surf, and she is a total fan of it. So yeah. I think for her even coming here, it would be such a huge adjustment. She's got a small score. It's jumped her up into second with just under 6 minutes on the clock. And Jody, we've got two moms in the lineup right now. We've got Daisy Valdez from the Philippines. She's a mom. She has a couple of beautiful children back home tuning in and watching, I'm sure, and supporting their mom, who is a SEA Games double bronze medalist and just an amazing competitor coming from the Philippines. Mahina Maeda now up and riding, driving through that first section, looking really in form today. All of that training, all of that time paying off, and that's a really scary finish on the inside.
Yeah, it's sketchy in there. And, you know, I was talking earlier about, you know, competition surfing is for some people and it's not for others. It wasn't for me. I hated it. I didn't like the pressure. I was in my own head so much. And reading a little bit of Mahina's story, you know, she's been out of the contest scene for, I think like a couple of years. It was going through some things where she took some time off and really needed to just work through, and she, you know, ended up helping other people, wanting to be a teacher and pouring into other people. And it's really good to see her back. It was really good to see her back at the World Surfing Games and just on fire, and it's really good. I mean, she looks fired up and in form.
Yeah, she really looks like she's going to be one to be out here this week. We've got our surfers coming up the next heat. Lucia Induran from Argentina making her way along the rocks. It looks like that high tide has filled in quite a lot there. Less distance to cover in the rocky walk. And having a look at this little split peak, keeping some distance between themselves. Our other mom in the lineup currently is Bethany Zelasco from Canada, our surfer in yellow. She's been so active out there. She's little baby Zoe back at home and has so much support from the family to be here, representing the Canadian flag. Originally, she's from Encinitas, California, with 3 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. And she has been doing so much time training. She also had a win here at the ALAS Championship in El Salvador back in 2019, so just a couple years ago. So Bethany's got to be feeling really comfortable and at home here in the lineup.
Well, with 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining, Mahina sitting in that top spot with her last two waves being her keepers, a 4.67 and a 4.60, and Bethany Zelasco in second. She's in the yellow jersey out there. Her two high-scoring waves are her last two waves as well, a 3.30, and her third wave was a 3.20. So looks like Mattia needs to get busy. She's looking to get a 5.60 to move into that advancing position as you see her up and riding here.
Bethany Zelasco on her backhand, chasing a 5.97, goes for something big, unable to ride out of it. So situation will remain the same on that one. And now we're gonna have a look. With the takeoff, priority is our surfer in blue. So surfer in white has kicked out. Surfer in blue also loses it in the foam. Plenty of distance between the two of them to avoid any priority interferences. We have had a few mishaps with the priority stuff throughout today. So it's nice to see heaps of distance between those two surfers. As we see Mahina flying down the line.
Oh, that was a really good last turn. She timed it perfectly. And she's just going to get one more in here. That last part is sketchy. The whole bottom kind of came out. So
that was such a heavy finish.
It was.
So shallow.
Watching that in slow motion was stressful.
We've already seen broken fins, broken boards. Yeah. Everyone's just, you know, trying to keep their equipment in one piece, but also knowing that sometimes to make it, you've got to just risk it.
Yeah, yeah. I keep having flashbacks to like, well, the in section at Rottnest and then the in section at Margaret River. It's like we never went right at Margaret River when we had contests there. Like, it was a left.
Really?
Yes. We didn't go left.
So what's it like now for you, knowing what the right is like to watch that?
Well, you see what they, I mean, all of the surf fans at home, and I mean, I watch it, you see what they do with that in section. It's not meant to, like, be ridden like that all the way up to the rocks, but that just goes to show you when you have a jersey on, you do things that you wouldn't normally do, like do things over shallow rocks and potentially injure yourself to get, you know, that score.
Just full commitment all the way to end, like we just saw.
100%.
So coming down to the final minute here for heat number 11, round 2 for the women's division of the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. The ISA has put so much work in behind the scenes to make this week possible. And there we go, Mathia Oline with a heavy drop. She's unable to make it. She was chasing a big score regardless. Down to 45 seconds. Priority out the back is sitting with our heat leader, Mahina, representing Japan. Bethany Zelasco, those two keeping things in that higher point range to keep themselves in the mix. Some local dogs finding some lunch.
Oh my gosh, she's chowing a sandwich. This is hilarious. Hey, mate, pick up your trash.
Mathia with a strong paddle. This is dedication as a competitor. 15 seconds on the clock. She fell on her last wave and she's back out there to try for one more. Mahina. Nice snap to start off with.
Wow. She's looking really good. Those were 2 really good turns. She's got to be feeling really good about right now.
Love this. Love seeing such great surfing. 5 more heats to go today. Coming up next, Heat 12 coming up next. We'll be right back with more action here at El Tuco.
Tus artistas favoritos en una sola frecuencia. 98.9. 98.9 FM. Oh.
Experience the magic of high-speed broadband.
There's a right time for everything. A right time to learn. A right time to try. A right time to fall. There's a right time to face yourself. A right time to enjoy pleasures. To make friends. There's a right time to find your wave. And there's a right place to enjoy your passion like nowhere else.
Welcome back to the action here at the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. Olympic qualification is on the line. We already have an Olympian in the water right now, qualified.
Provisionally
qualified. Shino Matsuda, representing Japan, qualified through the World Surfing Games for the Asian Continental Qualification back in 2019. So she's got her name in the mix on that side of things. And now taking off on her first wave, our surfer in blue, Josefina Ann from Argentina, driving down the line, tags the lip. Is she going to come out of the foam? Not quite.
just comes unstuck.
Very close. Jody?
But she went for it. And, you're talking about that continental slot for Asia. And, yeah, I think a lot of people don't if you don't understand it's complicated, but there has to be somebody from all 5 continents represented in that top 20. So, we saw a lot of that go down in the World Surfing Games 2019. It is provisional. There are some changes that can still go down here at this World Surfing Games, and those stories are going to be unfolding as we make our way through all these days of competition. I keep saying to everybody, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and there's a lot more competition. And right now the motivation is to stay in the main round and not get bumped in the repecharge, because that's a lot of heats. It's a lot of heats in the heat out here in El Salvador, and that can take a toll on you.
Well, a strong paddle from Shino Matsuda, our Olympian representing Japan, with a quick kick in and out. She would have been training so hard in preparation for this event leading up to her Olympic debut in just a couple months for Tokyo 2020. We got a couple little scores coming through, still 17 minutes on the clock, 20-minute heats, and we're counting down to the final 5 heats of the day. And there is so much on the line. Currently in the lineup, Jody, we have Lucia Indurant from Argentina, Ellie Turner from Great Britain, Shino Matsuda from Japan, and Josefina Ann from Argentina as well. So we keep seeing this matchup, too, of different countries represented. And the ISA has done this amazing thing of getting these national federations to represent. We've got so many teams represented. Each team is allotted 3 women and 3 men. Most teams have been able to fill out a whole team this year, which is incredible. That's why we've got nearly equal numbers on the men's and women's side for athletes. Some teams fielding smaller ones as well, most likely because they're new to the ISA.
Yep. And we saw that. There's the Moroccan flag there. We saw that at the 2019 World Surfing Games with Ramzi Boukhaim coming with just he and his coach, and that was it. And now this year they are coming with a bigger, more stacked team.
Well, currently, like I said, in the lineup, Shino Matsuda from Japan, Josephine Ann from Argentina, Lucia Indurain from Argentina, and Ellie Turner representing Great Britain. Heat number 12 of the day, women's round 2. We're going to finish up with the end of this round, which will be heat number 16, so 4 more to go, and some really big names coming up. We've been so stoked on the surfing so far, Jody. I mean, we are so passionate about women's surfing in general. All surfing, but there's a special spot in our heart for women's surfing, and I'll be honest about that. Coming up in the next couple of heats, we still have to look forward to names like Caroline Marks, Carissa Moore, Chelsea Tuwak. We've got Marcela Maquedo. We've got Steph Gilmore all in the mix. So many great surfers to come and so many more stories to tell as we wait for the next set to roll through. We're going to go down to the beach and catch up with the guys on the side.
Camiseta amarilla, Shino Matsuda. En segunda posición se encuentra la chica argentina.
Take it away, Cote.
Thank you very much, Shannon. Mina, what an incredible performance. You were winning that heat when you went for that inside section. It looked pretty gnarly. Was it as bad as it looked?
It was pretty bad. I kind of realized I did the turn where that one rock is like kind of sticking out. I really wanted to commit to the turn and then get a bigger score. I was just kind of scoring like average 4s, and my goal for each heat is kind of get like a lot of excellent scores. So I tried my best on that turn, so sorry.
It seemed like you exchanged some words with your coach, Wade. What was the overall reaction from him of your surfing in that heat?
He was like, oh, that wave was kind of gnarly, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't know what I was trying to do, but overall, like we made it very simple. Like I kind of didn't really want to have a plan. It's very challenging out there, and a lot of the times I make mistakes by having a plan and very set with it. So I was able to kind of just play it out and just surf the way that I would do as a free surfing.
So the plan is not to have a plan. It seems to be working for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Great to hear from Mahina. And so excited to see her advancing through, representing Japan, born and raised in Hawaii, an absolute shredder overall. And that's the story of so many of these women in the lineup. Currently up and riding, Lucia from Argentina. Nice carve on her backhand. Now waiting for this meaty inside section to stand up for her. Tags the lip, unable to ride out complete. And now answering back straight away, Shino Matsuda with that quick kick in and out. Jody, we have an actual Olympian in the lineup. She's in preparation. She's heading to Tokyo. She gets to surf at home in the first ever Olympic Games. Josephina Ann, love that little rail grab. So fun. And a kick out. What do you think it must be like for Shino to know the Olympics are coming to her home?
Yeah, I was there in Miyazaki. I watched her get that announcement. I watched, it all go down in front of her home country at the last ISA World Surfing Games. And I remember seeing her face, seeing her eyes, seeing the tears, and, just visibly looking at her, you could just tell how much it meant to her, and you see Blue up and running. I really want to see this grab rail cut back because I've never even done a grab rail. Sick. Look at that. That is so sick. I could never bend my knees enough because I have really long legs, and she does too. And that's really cool to see her get low enough to grab that rail. It's a functional turn that, honestly, I'm being completely honest, I've never done one. And I also suck at getting barrel on my backhand. So it's like, pig dogging. It's a challenging thing, but I think it's something that people don't talk about a lot because, it's a rite of passage.
All right, up and riding our surfer in white, Ellie Turner. Solid surfing coming through to the inside. Ellie representing Great Britain, and they've got such a cool crew that is here. Great Britain is one of those unique qualification opportunities where surfers must qualify for the Olympics through a country that has a National Olympic Committee. Now in Great Britain, both England, Scotland, Wales, and the Channel Islands do not have National Olympic Committees. So they're grouped together for all of the Olympics as Great Britain. So among that's 4 different countries
You're really
battling
smart.
it out. Just battling, hardcore battling for a spot in Great Britain.
I just learned
Imagine
a lot.
that.
I just learned a lot. Thank you for sharing that, because I didn't know all these things.
So much information that we can dive into about the Olympics as we see a nice turn now from Lucia. Strong attack on the backhand. And we're going to take a look at this one as well. Talk us through that grab rail once again. How sick was that turn
I loved
from
it.
Josefina?
I loved watching it. And as we see Ellie Turner from Great Britain, she's got a nice backhand attack. She's just waiting for this little step on the inside to get that last hit. And she does a good job navigating the bumps and lumps on that last wave. But yeah, I'm very, very impressed with the level of surfing that I'm seeing in round 2 of the main event.
So some scores to come through. Currently, Josefina sitting in the lead. Shino Matsuda in second. Ellie Turner in third. And Lucia Induran sitting in fourth. Halfway through this heat, 10 minutes to go. It's not the end of the game, because if either the 2 surfers that end up in third and fourth position still have that opportunity to refight to the main round through the repechage elimination round, they'll have one more chance. If they lose again, they're out. But it is a double elimination event here at the 2021 ISA World Surfing Games, and that is a great thing to know. But less heat surfed if you stay in the main round. Tough competition to keep your skills sharp all the way to the end. And we see Shino Matsuda, Olympian, representing Japan, up and riding. 2 big carves. She'll pull out of that. What happened at the end of that wave, Jody?
You could tell she didn't like what she saw. There was, there's some cross waves happening out there with the way that the bottom is, the way that swell direction's coming, and then the tide. So there's a lot of little cross bumps that are coming in, and she must have just seen and decided like she wasn't going to get the opportunity that she wanted.
Well, having a look there, decides not to go is Lucia. Of course, we know that there are 20 men and 20 women that will be qualifying and competing in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games as we take another look at last of Shino.
Yeah, you can see her eyeing that shoulder right there, pulling it all the way around. Now you can see that little step. She's waiting to see what the wave's going to do. It just flattened out right there. So she just went, and then the shoulder died, and game over.
So 20 men, 20 women will be competing in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. For this event right now, this week, all on the line, there are 5 spots still available in the men's draw and 7 spots available in the women's draw. Those surfers will qualify from this week from the results here at the 2020 Surf City, El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. And we're so excited to be able to call these heats to see. I mean, I'm just already getting emotional thinking about finals day and in the couple days leading up to it when we're going to see those surfers told that they're going to be Olympic athletes.
Exactly. And I think about the strategy it takes of moving through the main round versus the repechage round and how it motivates people differently, because it's like playing a video game. If you have like your 3 lives, well, this video game you only have 2 lives.
2 lives that count.
And is it better to make it all the way to the semifinals with an extra life in the main round, or is it better to have it all on the line and go through all the way through the repechage and just get you comfortable in both lineups, because you never know what's going to happen with the swell, and if the main round ends up over there at the other spot. So there's a lot of things. A lot of contests, there's one venue and you practice at that one wave, but here everybody has to get comfortable with both venues.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild format, but it's really exciting. It's going to see these surfers have to rise to the best of their ability, and we're going to see the cream of the crop rise to the top, which is exactly what we need when something as big as the Olympics is on offer. It's so different from any other, all of these other surf events that have run throughout the history of competitive surfing. As we see our surfer in red, Lucia, with a quick kick in and out. So small scores all around the board with a situation update, 6 minutes, 45 seconds on the clock. Shino has moved herself up into the lead with a 4.0 as her best score. Ellie Turner now up and riding, chasing a 2.53, goes down.
That's tough on your backhand. To time that. She just got stuck a little bit, didn't bend her knees. So her board didn't come around, and she just came unstuck. But she's got a really good backhand style. I'm really impressed with her surfing. And, yeah, it's a challenging in section there where those two parts converge. But I think the best way to get better on your backhand and your forehand and just surfing in general and your style is just to watch yourself on video and watch your heats back and dissect it and, write a list of what you did right, what you did wrong, and how you can improve. And that's how you learn from, that was a sick turn, from every heat that you're in. If you don't take something away from it to learn and move forward, then you're missing out on an opportunity.
And opportunities missed have big consequences this week.
They do.
Just a little bit on the line.
Yes.
Well, 5.5 minutes counting down. Surfers making a strong paddle out the back. And it was all started with a dream from Duke Kahanamoku 100 years ago that surfing would make it into the Olympics. That dream caught on by so many others, as well as our ISA president, Fernando Aguirre. He carried that dream on and has fought so hard to make sure that the Duke's dream would be realized. Thanks so much to Fernando for getting surfing to the Olympics.
And the Duke for having that dream. Yeah, it's pretty incredible to see where the sport has been, where it's come, and where we're going. I think it's just the beginning for surfing. I think, people talk a lot about surfing and skateboarding going to the Olympics, and I always say the Olympics needs surfing and skateboarding more than skateboarding and surfing needs the Olympics, because all these athletes are going to continue surfing. They're going to continue skateboarding with or without a jersey on because they love the sport. And so, yeah, I think everybody has that mindset. And, talking to a lot of skaters last week and then surfers this week, it's like everybody does it because for the love of it. They're going to do it whether they're getting paid. They're going to do it whether there's, trophies on the line. They're going to do it every day,
They're just going to continue.
Yeah.
And yet for the Olympics now to be able to get a taste of that.
Well, and it's bringing the youth to the Olympics. A lot of the athletes that compete in the Olympics are the ones that train. And it's like, it's sports that are really hard and they suffer through, like track and field. And, I don't even know all the names
Hurling.
Of all of them, but it's like, you don't go out and hurl for fun, and when you're retired hurling, you don't go out and hurl, but, some people love running and they run as a passion for the rest of their life. But, there's a lot of sports where they work so hard and train so hard when their Olympic dream is over, they never touch that sport again. And that's a lot to process for somebody. But skateboarding and surfing, the people that I know that do it, they do it for the rest of their life because they love it.
They absolutely do it for the love. As we see our surfer in blue flying down the line. Split screen, same wave. She's going to ride out, makes the claim. Josefina Ann from Argentina chasing a score. And she is so excited to finish off on the inside.
Well, the boys, long days here. Our team in the broadcast room are having fun, giving you guys some unique angles, split screen. Good job, boys and men. I should say men and women in the broadcast team. Men acting as boys and women being women. No, we're having fun. We're actually having a lot of fun. We have a really good team here, and it's long days. And, the athletes that are out competing and the coaches, they come for an hour or two and then they leave. But we're here all day. All day we're here to give you guys at home watching lots of entertainment. But actually, it's the surfers that are giving you guys the entertainment as you watch this replay of Blue.
Have a look at this
Really
finish.
working her way up to that last hit. She gets right up in there, and she is stoking.
So stoked. She is currently sitting in second position, chasing a 4.13. Shino Matsuda in the lead. Josefina Ann sitting in second. Lucia in third, and Ellie Turner in fourth. There we have those scores up on the screen.
And this is where priority comes in, is the last 5 minutes of a heat when people are looking for scores. This is where the priority game really comes in. But right now we're just seeing our leader holding that priority. And not a whole lot of people, you know, Lucia needs, she's already in the advancing position, but
yeah, so we're seeing
Josephina,
the situation change. So scores just dropped in for Lucia, which jumped her from third up into second, but we're still waiting on a score for Josephina.
Yes,
she could take that advancing position, maybe the lead. It'll drop through in just a moment as we take a look at this replay from Ellie Turner, representing Great Britain from Newquay in England. Nice couple of carves. And there she goes, right under the lip. Fantastic surfing.
Wow. That was great surfing.
So she'll be feeling confident coming through on that one. And having a look now at replay also from Lucia from Argentina onto the inside.
She did really well, though, to time that. There's, you know, actually some backwash happening and whatnot now. It's just, yeah, the tides change everything out here. It's incredible how much it changes.
And scores in. Josephina Ann with a 4.57 moves from elimination up into the lead. She's into first with 12 seconds on the clock. Shina Matsuda down into second. Ellie Turner just jumped into third as I'm speaking. Lucia down into fourth and giving it one last crack. Good hit off the top. She's looking for a score to advance. She feels like she has it.
The judges right there. She's looking for a 3.51, and she's in her, that reaction, that passion you just saw is her saying, leave no doubt, judges. Like, I just did the thing.
She's chasing a 3.51 to get that advancing position. Scores are coming through.
Yes.
Taking another look at that replay now. There's so much emotion on the line. Olympic qualification is on the line. Representing your team proudly is on the line, and she has done that so well. As we have scores to come through. Josephina Ann in the lead. Shina Matsuda in second.
Dropping, just waiting for it to final lock in. She gets a 4.10.
There it is. Lucia to the lead. Josephina to second. Advancing into the main round. Congratulations. We'll be right back. Shina Matsuda into third place. So much more to discuss right after this. Stay tuned.
Música pop 98.9. Compartir pop. 98.9. Pop. Eres ama compartir impresionante. Escucha pop 98.9.
There's a right time for everything. A right time to learn. A right time to try. A right time to fall. There's a right time to face yourself. A right time to enjoy pleasures. To make friends. There's a right time to find your wave. And there's a right place to enjoy your passion like nowhere else.
Regresó el sol, las olas y el surf. Y regresaron con Golden y Golden Extra, las cervezas más refrescantes de El Salvador. Filtradas en frío, perfectas para refrescarte en todo momento. Disfruta de lo mejor del Mundial de Surf con lo más refrescante de El Salvador. Golden, cerveza oficial del Mundial de Surf.
Experience the magic of high-speed broadband.
Welcome back to the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. Chris Cote here with Brad J. The road to the Olympics has a lot of traffic on it right now, but as we get deeper into this event, these surfers will be making their way potentially to Tokyo. Here's your heat draw. Summer Savore representing Mexico, Caroline Marks. Fabiola Alcaya, Marcela Machado, Mexico, USA, Puerto Rico, and Uruguay represented here. And the waves have held on. You know, it's pretty wild, chunky, choppy out there, but plenty of opportunities for our surfers. Some fun-looking sections coming through. When I look at waves like this, I get excited because I know how many waves are going to be available to catch. So with 16 minutes in this heat, we're going to go back down to the beach. Kale Carranza is standing by.
Thank you very much. Lucia, a very interesting heat. You turned it around right away. Le diste vuelta a ese heat en los últimos segundos.
Wow, fue un hit muy fuerte. El primer hit acá en la Bocana, en la casa de mi amiga Katy. Siento que ella me estuvo acompañando, que ella me tiró las últimas 2 olas. Así que nada, me siento muy feliz de estar acá y de estar surfeando la Bocana y a darlo todo por ella.
I feel like Katy, my friend, was with me all the time. I feel like she was the one that sent me those 2 waves. I'm doing it for her and I'm feeling really confident that she's with me in the water. El equipo argentino ha estado aquí algo de tiempo practicando. ¿Cómo de cómoda te sientes en esta ola? How comfortable do you feel in this wave?
La verdad que yo estoy hace 2 meses ya. Me sentía bastante confiada. Igual sabía que la Bocana es un lugar que cambia todos los días y hoy tocó sinceramente una condición muy distinta, hasta mismo de lo que estaba en la mañana. Pero nada, creo que el surfista tiene que aprender a adaptarse a las condiciones y pude lograrlo sobre el final de hit, así que muy feliz de pasar.
I've been here for 2 months, and although I've spent quite a bit of time here, it's a wave that is very difficult. La Bocana has different moods, it changes a lot, and I felt really happy to get those 2 waves towards the last few minutes of the heat. Lucia, mandar saludos a gente en casa. You want to send greetings to people at home?
Sí, a mi mamá que me está mirando ahí, vamos mami, un pasito más, a toda mi familia, a mi ciudad y nada, vamos a Argentina, carajo.
With the shaka. The shaka is very important at the end of the interview. Congratulations to Lucia Induran from Argentina, making her way through a tough heat, but that right there, this gets her 1 step closer towards potentially an ISA gold medal, as well as a ticket to the upcoming Tokyo Olympic Games at Surigasaki Beach in Japan.
Look at that shaka. Did you see how that shaka
Proper
came
shaka.
in? It didn't come in slow. It was like, ooh, shaka right at the end, like that.
So you see now conditions offering plenty of opportunity for these surfers, but it's not going to be easy for them. Some replays from the very get-go.
Yeah, taking a look right there. That's Wyatt Fabiola Acala from Puerto Rico, 17 years old, doing her thing. You see the wind kind of backing down. We still got that cross chop in it, and we definitely have an increase. They were calling the increase to seconds to increase from like 15 seconds yesterday to 20 seconds this evening, and we're starting to see it right now. Let's see if our surfers in the water can get a little something to work with. And that is Summer Savori from Mexico trying to find something right there. But a couple scores in, as you can see. You got the .93, the .87 for Fabiola. Has over the 2.0 on the top spot. And 9.3 and 8.7 in second for Fabiola.
Back at it, Fabiola Alcaya. Puerto Rico, can she ride out?
Whoa!
That was not going to be easy.
No.
That was not going to be an easy finishing maneuver, but I like that she dug her toes into the wax and really just tried to hang on there.
I feel like that section, too, you see the two kind of come together, and a lot of water pushes right into there. I think she's just trying to ride through it. Take a look here. Here is the replay. Up into it. Bam! And just, can you get back in? Look how much water behind her. It is like Niagara Falls behind her. And then replay here of yellow. That's Marcela Machado from Uruguay. And just digging a little bit of edge on that airdrop back in. It comes unstuck on that. So trying to pick the right waves. 12 minutes to go here. And we're seeing that Fabiola's keeping pretty busy here. 3 waves to her credit so far. And Summer Savori with 2. Another look here in yellow once again, Marcela Machado. That's that nice cutback. Wants to let something work with his face. Knows not just to get down there a little soon. Digs the nose down. And it gets caught by the surf snake right there.
And I don't think there's any relation to the legendary Rob Machado. Maybe deep in the family history, but having a look, a long extended paddle with the takeoff. This is Summer Savore. And now with the tide pushing, that adds to a little bit of the danger element, not because the rocks are showing, but now everything is condensed right up on the beach. So you really have to pack those maneuvers in right when you stand up. It's not going to be easy for these surfers to post big scores, but as we've seen the last 2 heats, they're out there.
Yeah.
You just got to find them.
And I feel like those wedges, you know, as that tide pushes, you start seeing these little A-frame wedges that you can work with. Machado on this one.
So I like this strategy. Stay busy, catch a lot of waves. Very unpredictable out here, so you know you just got to roll the dice. I would not dive head first.
I would
but,
think the same thing.
If I'm her coach, I'm going to remind her of that. You know, in the heat of competition, things get exciting. So maybe just kind of forgot, but that's dangerous.
But if you're going to do the head first dive, doing it at high tide is going to be much better doing that at the ultra low tide.
Exactly.
I will say that.
In her defense, you're right.
In her defense, yes. So you see the scores right now. Marcel's been keeping busy from Uruguay. She's got the 5.50, a 3, and a 2.5. Summer Savori in the number 2 spot. Now you start looking at Fabiola in the number 3 spot. She has got a 2.16, so she's looking to try and get out of that number 3 spot and be in the top 2 transfer spots.
Scores on the board now, a 3 being the highest mark yet. Here's surfer in yellow, Marcela Machado.
That's the replay here. Machado here on the inside. And I like what you said, Chris. Get as many waves as you can.
Just go.
Because you don't know what one wave's going to do. You can try to guess that that wave's going to open up and give you an open face, but 9 out of 10 times, it's not going to do that. So you just might get that lucky one, and you just never know. That could be enough to put you in the mix for tomorrow.
Yeah, and this is a marathon, not a sprint. We're only on day 2 of competition, and it feels like we've been here for a week because we've seen so much surfing, double podiums, and that gives the surfers just a better chance to do what they do best, and that is perform. By the end of this event, all of these surfers will have given their all. They're going to leave everything they have in the lineup.
Like it.
Right now, Marcelo Machado from Uruguay in the lead with a 3 and a 2.5. Summer Savori, Team Mexico with a 1.5 and a 1.2. Fabiola Alcala from Puerto Rico, a 1.23 and a 0.93. So no major scores out there right now, but you know, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the heat how big or low the scores are, as long as you're in one of those top 2 spots.
It's the top 2 transfer spots that you're talking about, 100%. And look, you look at that 3.0 Machado's got. That's a solid score in these conditions. But look, you see a little inside right kind of go through. You don't know what these waves are capable of. And then even on some of the bigger days that we saw, you know, a couple weeks ago, where it was maxed out on the outside, with the high tide, there was nice little wedge peaks and little A-frame peaks on the inside that the surfers were able to take advantage of for practice.
Big heat coming up next. Surfers getting ready. The one good thing about high tide here is the paddle out's that much easier. You kind of just jump off the rocks into the water. You see in the lineup, our 3 surfers competing. 8 minutes, 22 seconds to go. Currently in 3rd place, Fabiola Alcala from Puerto Rico, 17 years old. Her favorite break is called Cuervo del Indio. She's riding a Shadow by Paizel Surfboards. If it's good enough for John,
yeah,
it's good enough for anybody.
Exactly. I've known Paizel for a very long time. Kind of grew up with him in Santa Barbara back in the days, and watched him just come on and make boards for the entire world. Now, so many people on Paizels nowadays.
I am.
You are. I saw your setup.
So in the lineup now, our surfers are hopefully kind of looking back to the homework they've done leading up to this heat. A lot of teams showed up early here in El Salvador, and they were greeted by solid back-to-back swells for 3 weeks leading up to this event.
So true.
El Salvador is holding. You said it earlier today, Brad. This is about as small as it's going to get throughout the month here in El Salvador. So, and if it's like this at this break, you know, maybe you don't want to surf chunky kind of wind wedges. Well, go around the corner. You'll probably find something to your liking.
You know what's funny is when it got so big that La Bocana started closing out, all the pros started migrating to El Sunzal. And I was having fun at El Sunzal before all the pros started showing up, because that wave was kind of left alone. Yeah, some of them were hitting it, but when it got closed out here, every surfer was at El Sunzal, and I think a couple days we had like 45 or 50 in the water at El Sunzal because of the size of the surf.
Marcela Machado there, nice snapping finish. You can see some excitement after she jumps off that wave. Uruguay of Rising Surf Nation. Don't know a lot about the waves there. I do know about the talent. They fielded another really solid team. They always seem to come through here at the ISA World Surfing Games, and Uruguay has been a host to a few major events, so they know a lot about, you know, the planning and what it takes to put on an event of this magnitude. You know, one thing we didn't know coming into this ISA World Surfing Games, you know, of course, with the challenges that everybody's facing, was how were we going to pull this off? Well, I got to give full credit. The government of El Salvador, the team at the ISA, it has been nothing but welcoming and positive down here on the beach. The teams are excited. You know, the surfing, you really want to only concentrate on what happens in the water. You don't want to have to worry about logistics. So luckily our teams have been so well taken care of. And ask any of them after this event is over, should I take a trip to El Salvador?
Oh, yeah.
What are they going to tell you?
That's a 100% yes factor on that, 100%. Yeah, and I feel like the ones that came out early spent the time and kind of get used to it, kind of learn the spot a little bit better. And what we're seeing today could completely change for tomorrow. Right now, Marcela Machado in that top spot, a 4.10 and a 3.0. That's giving her a 7.10. You got 2.7 right there for Summer Savori in second for Mexico. So that's challengeable. And so if you're Fabiola, you're in third. All you need is a 1.48. You can get a 1.48.
So with 5 minutes to go, next heat getting ready. Another international affair. Portugal, Barbados, Peru, Israel, all represented in Heat 14. Keep your eyes on surfer in white, Chelsea Tuak. She is definitely a threat to take one of those elusive 7 spots that we have available for the upcoming Olympic Games. She's gonna have to surf her heart out for the next 5 days straight. 10 days. I mean, this event is packed with so many surfers.
8 days, I think, total. Now here's something. You see them waving their hands in the water. Can you explain to the good people at home that may not know, maybe they're asking for something or maybe bring them a coconut? What are they doing there?
Well, the surfers in the water are listening to our beach announcers who speak multiple languages, telling them how much time they have left, but probably most importantly to the surfers, the scores they need to get. So for Summer Savori example, she needs a 5.6. What she's hearing right now is our beach announcer saying, Blue, you need a 5.6 to get in the top spot. Fabiola Alcala in white. So the beach announcers generally use the color of the jersey just to make sure, keep things fair and equal, and also to be very direct. Surfer in white, you need a 1.48. So if you're Fabiola, that tells you, okay, I don't need a huge perfect wave. I just need something that's going to give me the opportunity for maybe one big turn or 2 snaps down the line, because a 1.48 is basically a 1 to 2 turn wave.
What if you're colorblind?
Well, then you've got a problem. You can actually look in at the scaffolding as well, and there's a giant graphic with the colors. It's very clear. There's no excuse for an interference, but sometimes in the heat of the action, you know, you get confused and it happens. We've only seen 2, maybe 3 interferences on the whole day. So with 300 plus surfers, that's a good average.
That's a pretty good average. We'll take that for sure. And of course, the Olympic competition taking place in Tokyo. Tsurugasaki Beach in Japan is about 100 kilometers from Tokyo, and that's where surfing will take place. Now, the one thing about that is you really are hoping for one of those typhoon-style swells to provide waves, because that's a good wave when it's on.
So heading into Tokyo, Brad, I know you've been part of many Olympic Games in the past, winter, summer. You've been around the block. You've seen it all. What can these surfers expect when they make their way to Tokyo? When they land in the airport, what's it like? What's the majesty of the Olympic Games really like through the eyes of an athlete?
You're a star. You are an actual superstar at that point. The Olympic Committee treats you that way. The people treat you that way. And what they do is when you come in, you're treated with the utmost respect. And then sometimes I feel like you don't realize it until you're at opening ceremonies and all the nations are marching out together and the flags are out and the people are going crazy. Then it starts coming. You're like, whoa, what am I in? I mean, I was just surfing, having a good time, and now I'm at the Olympics? What?
Yeah, it's really happening, and it's right around the corner. Will it be the surfer in white who's up and riding right now, Fabiola Alcala from Puerto Rico? Nice finish there.
Yeah.
Rides out clean. So that little subtle gesture that she did riding out through the whitewater signified to the judges she is in complete control. And while that word is not in our judging scale per se,
I like that.
it really means a lot because, you know, we've already seen this year on both the WSL Championship Tour in the ISA World Surfing Games, you have to make it very clear to the judges that you've made your wave. You don't want to leave it up to the umpire. You got to make it clear.
Exactly.
Here's your surfer in yellow, Marcelo Machado, Uruguay.
Oh. And like just any sort of turns, getting 2 turns in, you got to be happy with that. Look at those scores. Only the 410's our biggest score right now. So anything you can put in, a 2-turn wave, that could help your cause right there and help you stay in that top 2 and move on.
Marcela Machado, 23 years old, born in Lanzarote. Favorite break, San Juan. She is a 4-time Canary Islands Open champion. So if you're thinking of going to the Canary Islands, hit up Marcela Machado. Maybe she'll share some of the secrets of that wonderful wave-rich region.
Well, she definitely knows it being a 4-time Canary Islands champ. Taking a look at the replay here, Fabiola from Puerto Rico, working all the inside. That's going to be a good wave for us. See what that, as that comes in.
I'm liking it. Strong surfing from all 3 competitors in the lineup. Not an easy time of day to surf here in El Salvador. This is usually the time when happy hour begins. In the tropics, as we all know, around 5 o'clock. That's why Jimmy Buffett came up with the song, It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It always feels like 5 o'clock in El Salvador. It's a joyful place.
Exactly.
But for the surfers still competing, they've got more work to do. That's going to be it for Heat 13. Looks like Marcela Machado will get the win. Unofficially for now as we move on to Heat 14. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more action. You're watching the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. Stay tuned.
Tus artistas favoritos en una sola frecuencia. 98.9. 98.9 FM. Oh.
Experience the magic of high-speed broadband.
There's a right time for everything. A right time to learn. A right time to try. A right time to fall. There's a right time to face yourself. A right time to enjoy pleasures. To make friends. There's a right time to find your wave. And there's a right place to enjoy your passion like nowhere else.
The great news coming from around the world is that borders are opening up, restrictions are being lifted.
Yes.
This is the time to start planning your trip. Surf City, El Salvador. Picture yourself on one of these balconies, on one of these point breaks. That could be you, right there, 5 o'clock, happy hour. You just surfed all day long.
Yep.
You're sunburned and you're feeling great. El Salvador Surf City is the spot. El Tunco, right here is, I mean, plenty of places to stay, plenty of food. Just the vibe is up down here in El Salvador. I'm feeling it.
El Tunco is large and in charge. You go to El Tunco on a Saturday night, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Don't go early on a Saturday. Just go to El Tunco around 9 or 10 p.m. on a Saturday night. And if you're going to look for a nice peaceful night, you might want to just go a little farther down, because El Tunco is absolutely off the hook on a Saturday night, insanely.
Well, with surf towns, you're going to get a good party, and we promise you will have that. Surf City, El Salvador. You can check out @Surf City on Instagram for more information, and of course on isasurf.org. You know, if you want all the details on what you need to do, how to prepare to get here, I'm sure you could ask any surfer that has come down here to compete. Throw Gabriel Medina a DM. How was it?
See what he gets. See if he gets right back to you. And a lot of these hotels that you see as the drone shot goes over them have these beautiful saltwater pools that are right below the hotel. So on the lower tides, not when it's macking, but on the lower tides, you can go down there and experience these saltwater pools and just kind of hang out and enjoy it. So there's so much to see and do here, and it's so welcoming. The people are welcoming, and I'll tell you, when I was out here a year and a half ago for the World Sup Championships here with ISA, that's when I knew that when we come back here, I'm coming out for a much longer time, and that's why I've been out for a month, just enjoying everything about what El Salvador has to offer the surfer and just the vacationer too, the tourist as well.
I'm dropping pins all over the place.
You're dropping
pins? Well, as our surfers get themselves back in the lineup, let's go down to Jody Nelson on the boardwalk.
Marcela, you had an incredible heat out there, and the conditions have been changing a ton. Walk us through just, how you adapted to the tide coming in and just the lineup changing a little bit.
Well, it's crazy. You're there and you try to get a bigger one, but normally the sets are closing, so it's difficult to stay there, but our waves, so it's the sea.
And then leading up to that heat, you have a huge team behind you. What did you guys talk about before the heat? How did you strategize before you went out there?
Sorry?
How did you strategize with your team before your heat?
Yeah, normally I try to look out just to know when the set is coming, like when the bigger ones are coming, because I think the middle ones are better, so we are trying to escape, so. And they help me.
Your thoughts on the repecharge round versus the main round?
Sorry?
Your thoughts on the repecharge round versus the main round?
No, this is main round 2, so we are going to round 3, so I'm super happy, super stoked.
And my point being, repecharge rounds, if you go into the repecharge rounds, you have to surf a lot of heats.
Yeah.
Do you think it's beneficial to stay in the main round?
Yeah, I think a repecharge is like a backup, so we are trying always to stay in main round, and if you lose, you have the second opportunity. So if you keep your second opportunity to the end, it's better.
And team camaraderie is happening. You've got your team here. What has been your favorite part so far this week at ISA World Surfing Games?
I think for me is be with the team is amazing, and surf these waves alone. Like in Sunsal this morning was crazy, was super good. And for me the best is the people riding and always supporting us, and see the city surfers is amazing. Look, Carissa Moore or Caroline Marks and the girls ripping is so good.
Awesome. And I know you have a lot of friends and family watching at home. If you want to say anything to them.
I can say in Spanish?
Of course.
Muchas gracias a todos los que me están apoyando, desde Uruguay hasta mi familia, todo el mundo. Primero la familia, por supuesto. Y bueno, vamos arriba, vamos a darlo todo. Y gracias a mi abuelo, sobre todo, que lo quiero un montón.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Jody Nelson. Congratulations to Marcela Machado. As our heat is in the water now, we have a couple replays to get to. As we were chatting to Marcela, the surfers in the lineup got busy. And you can see the swell is starting to pulse here. I mean, it's clear as day. We're going to start with surfer in blue. This is Adaya Barsadeh.
Yeah, Barsadeh from Israel, 17 years old. And look, gets into that next little section there. Didn't even look like there's much of a wave, but still just trying to do everything you can to try and put some points on the board. Then you look at white right here. Chelsea Tuoc from Barbados, 25 years old. And the first surfer from the Caribbean to qualify for the tour. And then we go to red right here, Yolanda Siqueira from Portugal. And she gets a nice, good turn right there. Look at that, drags the hand on that backside bottom turn, slashes it off the top. And that's the thick part. Like you were saying, Chris, you really want to show the judges that you got this. You're going to ride away clean.
That was well done. Chelsea Tuoc right now is a 2-time ISA medalist. She has a bronze, copper medal for junior and a copper medal in the ISA World Surfing Games from 2015. A seasoned veteran competitor. She started surfing in contests at 8 years old. And she has been making a career out of it. I would say Chelsea Tuoc is underrated for how good she really is. Would not be surprised to see her back on the championship tour. And I would not be surprised to see her on the podium at the end of this week, holding at least one more medal to add to her collection. And Yolanda Siqueira from Portugal, up and out. Like a little bit of action like that.
Exactly.
Stir things up.
Yeah. And you look at, like you're talking about Chelsea Tuoc, I mean, you look at all the competitors that are out here today. They have a chance to represent their company, make it to their country, make it to the Olympics. As we look at Guta right here, Melanie Guta from Peru, gets a good turn right before that wave explodes out the back on her.
That was smart. That was smart not to tussle with the oncoming whitewater there, because more often than not, especially here at high tide, a lot of power, a lot of moving through that inside section. You got to be really precise where you put your turns. I think she did a great job there. Here's Melanie again.
Look at that. Look at that. That builds up. See that little bowl section? And she knows. Carve under the lip and get out of the danger zone right there. Is that a Kenny Loggins song? Is it Danger Zone?
Yeah, she's riding to the danger zone.
She's getting out of the danger zone.
Peru, as we know, a surfing superpower. Home of every type of wave you could want. Melanie Agunta, her favorite wave is called Pisonas. In 2018 was her best year yet. She got back-to-back wins. Also qualified for the Pan American Games.
Yep.
She was in the WQS in 2019. So a stellar year in 2018 for Melanie.
And like you said, they got good spots. I was there for the Pan American Games announcing surfing out there in at Punta Rocas, and I'll tell you, they have some amazing waves out there. And all these competitors, ones that competed out there at the Pan American Games, were just charging some pretty darn big surf. And you look at what El Salvador has, Peru has some very similar waves, very strong surfing out there as well, for sure.
It's pretty cool to see, with 51 nations represented, to kind of guess as to where the ISA World Surfing Games goes next. I'm always so excited when I hear them make the announcement. We've had 2 events back-to-back in Japan and now here in El Salvador. When I saw El Salvador come across the board as the host nation, immediately got excited because I knew how good the waves were. I was curious to see what the infrastructure like, what the logistics would be like, and I have been so pleasantly surprised on the ease of entry. Get into the country, get straight to where you're staying. I mean, everything is like red carpet, and I can imagine that was not an easy entry right there. We'll get back to that, but I can imagine for any visiting surfer, I saw a couple friends on a flight on their way down here, no idea this event was going on. They got the same treatment as Gabriel Medina and Italo Ferreira got. Everybody is welcomed like a surf hero. Pretty cool.
Oh, look at this. Then just gets her.
That's the wipeout of the day.
Yeah, that is definitely the wipeout
Save
of the day.
that clip.
And it makes
that's a compliment.
I want to talk about Duke's dream, okay? We've talked about it a little bit, but not today. So here's the deal. Duke Hanamoko on a podium after winning gold in swimming back in 1912, Stockholm Games. Duke leans down to King Gustavo of Sweden and says, I wish to see surfing in the Olympics. I don't know if he said it that way, but he said that, and he also said it to the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, and it took a little while to make it happen, but Duke is smiling down from above going, yes.
Yes.
You guys listened to me and made the dream. And can you imagine being King Gustavo? You're like, why is
surfing?
Huh?
Excuse me? Well,
We're Sweden, man.
It took a passionate, tenacious guy like Fernando Aguirre to really set the table, and just keep pushing, keep pushing. He had a million doors slammed in his face, and guess what? He kicked those doors down, along with the ISA, and of course a global network, a huge team. You can check out the story of the path to the Olympics right now on isasurf.org. There's a State of Olympic Surfing series that we put together that kind of spotlit a lot of the athletes that are making it. So check that out after competition, of course. So another flying over the handlebars moment for Yolanda Sequeira.
But why not throw it straight up and down vertical? That's what she was trying to do, just bring it back in the re-entry style, but not able to pull that back under her feet. But still, that's straight up and down vertical. Those are the kind of hits you look for.
Exactly. Go for it. Well, speaking of going for it, this guy has been going for the gold since day one. Here's a look at Fernando Aguirre and his path to his Olympic dream.
The Olympic movement by many people was perceived as changing slowly and after the fact, kind of not going ahead of the game. When in 2013, President Bach, the current president, was elected, he knew they had to change. His phrase was, which is an incredible phrase, change or be changed. So one of the things, and the most successful thing that he changed was expanding the Olympic sports program. In 2015, Tokyo could propose to the IOC new sports. I had already reached out to the WSL and I told them that they need to be part of this, that this didn't belong to us. So I invited them to participate. They gave messages committing, the pro surfers themselves committing to be in Tokyo if we were selected. And with all of that and everything that we've been doing all these years, we presented our case to Tokyo. 26 new sports presented their case for inclusion. And out of the 26, 8 became a shortlist, and then 5 became a shortlist, and we were in the 5. Tokyo was told, do you care for new sports? Tokyo said yes. Okay, which one will they be? Surfing, youth sport for the ocean and the beach, skateboarding, urban youth sports, and sport climbing, outdoor youth sports. And that was it. In one giant stroke, Bach achieved what hasn't been achieved in decades of evolution of the Olympic program. I was like, wow, the thing really worked. This is 23 years after being elected president of the ISA, the full dream of the dream teams with the best surfers, professionals and everything coming together and surfing and having a blast together, realizing that the ISA events were actually quite a lot of fun. I realized that for the first time, instead of me pushing for the door to open that wouldn't open, now the door was open and they were waving us to come in.
Wow. Great, piece of history right there from Fernando Aguirre, the president of the ISA. 23 years he's been working to help get surfing into the Olympics. And now that it's in, he gets to just enjoy the ride. Definitely still working very hard.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong there, but the celebration and the relief that you feel right there, it's in.
How do you keep that up? How do you keep that wish and that passion for 23 years that Fernando did that to really push open the doors and get surfing in the Olympics? You got to just, hats off to Fernando for making that happen, because what he's done is not only just, for surfing in general, it's for the world too as well. It's bringing nations together. It's a better world through surfing, and what he did by having that passion. I get choked up right now if I even go any farther, but that's what it's all about. And Fernando, you got to just hats off to what he has done to make this a reality.
You can cry. That's fine.
Is it okay?
This is an emotional moment for surfing.
Just a little tear there. I'll be all right.
All right, back at it. 3:50 to go here in round 2, heat 14. Melanie Gunta from Peru in the lead. Chelsea Tuak from Barbados in second. Yolanda Sequeira in third. Adva Bar Sadeh from Israel currently in fourth, but nobody really needs a massive score to get themselves into contention for one of those top 2 spots. Yolanda needs a 1.6. Adva, she needs a 3.11. So everyone's still in contention now. Remember, this is round 2 of the main event for women. If you get third or fourth here, you go to a repecharge round, meaning you get a second chance to get back in to the main event. You're going to have to surf a few more heats, and they're all dangerous heats because we are filling that repecharge round with incredible talent. So
you're
by no means an easy bracket to be in.
Heck no, not at all. And that's what needs to be done. You have to, and when it's hot like this and the temperatures are the way they are and you have to surf the extra heat, it's a lot of extra work that you don't really want to put yourself through. But hey, if that's the writing on the wall and that's what you got to deal with, roll up the sleeves and get her done.
I like it. Here's a heat recap. So a lot of action has gone down here. Your surfer in red, Yolanda Sequeira, had a big start. Some precise surfing in wild conditions. Surfer in yellow, Melanie Gunta, your current leader. Right there again, just perfect placement. Not an easy wave to surf. She got the job done. Now we're getting down to 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. A baffling lineup for some of these surfers. You know, in the past couple of heats, you know, we're looking at probably an average of 5 to 6 waves being ridden by each surfer. Some more, some less. Right there's a good example of these surfers in the lineup getting caught off guard by that set. So with the new swell coming, with the tide being as high as it is, you know, the wind thankfully backing down a little bit, but the water is heavy. A lot of movement coming through the lineup. So, you know, fitness comes into play. You think, well, surfing for 20 minutes, that's not hard.
Oh, yeah.
Trust us when we say when you're surfing at this level, it is a tough 20 minutes.
And it's
Melanie's up and out there.
And it's one of those things, too. It's like, you know, there is a lot of water moving, for one. Like, let's just get that right out. There's a lot of water moving. And most of the spots, you have some pretty hefty paddles to get out there. Not so much La Bocana, but El Cinzal, you're paddling out from the base. That's a good 300 yards, maybe, you know, I don't know, a couple kilometers or something to get all the way out there. So if you get one all the way out, all the way in, now you're looking at like, man, I got to paddle all the way back out there. So there's some hefty paddles. Either a Punta Roca's a hefty paddle, the inside of La Paz is a hefty paddle, Sunzal's a hefty paddle. You got some work to do, and you got a lot of water moving.
That is so true, and you do not have the luxury of running up the beach to the top of the point because these are all rocky points. Punta Roca, right? Rocky Point. I'm not very good at Spanish, but that one's pretty clear.
You get that one.
Yes.
That one, yeah, that one is hit the nail on the head right there for sure. Look at scores right there. Still Melanie Gunta in the top spot. Got a 9-2. Look at the sets starting to come in now. And with the higher tide, we're seeing the sets kind of give a little bit more face, it looks like, to work with if you can get out there.
27 seconds on the clock. Melanie now has to play defense. She's got a 5 and a 4.20. Chelsea right there with a 3.5 and a 2.33. Yolanda, Adva, both just need scores in the minimal range, a 1.6 and a 3.11. Totally gettable, but now time is not their friend. 8 seconds left. Any more opportunities? Looks like surfer in white, Chelsea Tuak. Last chance here. She is going upriver. A wild, frothy wave for Chelsea. She rides out nicely. That's going to be it for Heat 14 here in round 2 of the women's division. Solid heat.
That's interesting because is that enough to get her in that top 2? Because she was down in the 3rd spot. I don't think it's going to be enough. So she will have her work cut out for her if she's not able to get the score she needed right there.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with more action. Heat 15 of the round 2 here at the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Game. The women roll on. 2 more heats to go here in round 2 of the women's division. Stay tuned.
Tus artistas favoritos en una sola frecuencia. 98.9. 98.9 FM.
Experience the magic of high-speed broadband.
There's a right time for everything. A right time to learn. A right time to try. A right time to fall. There's a right time to face yourself, a right time to enjoy pleasures, to make friends. There's a right time to find your wave, and there's a right place to enjoy your passion like nowhere else.
Welcome back to the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games, broadcasting live from where you want to be here in beautiful El Salvador. Chris Cote here with Brad J. We're getting into it. Heat 15 is in the lineup. Lots of action to be seen, and it is not an easy path for these surfers to make it through these heats, to make it all the way to the end of this event where they could potentially get the news that they're going to the Tokyo Olympic Games. But we've got days before us to decide those big questions.
And I think that even when, look at this on the out, trying to get into this one, on the late drop in white, Carolina Mendez from Portugal.
Well, we've been saying it all along. Team Portugal comes correct.
Take it.
Teresa Van Valat has been doing incredibly well through this competition. So you know that a little bit of added pressure when your teammates are ripping their way through heats. You want to keep the pace. You know, you don't want to be the weak link on the team. You want to be right there with the rest of your teammates. And as we move on through competition, we're going to start to see the leaderboard form in front of our eyes. Another fun element of the ISA World Surfing Games. Which country is going to take the top spot?
You know, and you also have to think about it, too, taking a look at who we have in this heat competing right here.
Oh, this is a big one. Claire Bevilacqua, Carolina Mendez, Shelby Detmers, Portugal, Italy, Mexico. Team USA represented here at the ISA World Surfing Games, Carissa Moore.
I feel this, though, you know, when it comes official and you pick the top 7 women to make it in to represent their countries, you pick the 5 guys to make it in represent their countries, I don't think it's even going to set into them here in El Salvador. It's not going to set in until they make that journey over to Tokyo, because I've seen athletes who react to it, and you don't really know what you're getting into until you get to the big stage. And like I said, opening ceremonies, that pretty much signifies right there when you see all the nations coming out with their flags and thousands of people hanging out and cheering you on. Not sure how the protocol is going to be for it, but tell you what, that's when it's going to sink in. It's going to be tough to imagine it here. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to the Olympics, but they have no idea what they're in for until they get there.
Well, will it be surfer in blue, Shelby Detmers? She's put medals around her neck. She has a copper medal from the Pan Am Games. So no stranger to the podium. Of course, she's been a long-time competitor here at the ISA World Surfing Games, representing Team Mexico.
And I feel like it's a similar wave that she got that 3rd place, because that was at Punta Roca at the Pan American Games in 2019 in Peru. And I feel like that's a very similar wave to what she's dealing with out here. So I feel like for her, this should feel like, you know, I can do this. I showed up. I got top 3 in Peru. I can do it out here. Looking at the replay here of white, that's Carolina Mendez. That was her first wave. She lets that little section build up, gets the floater, and then just redirects it to just try to just stay in front of that. Late drop for blue right there. That's Shelby Detmers. We're talking about her. Sets up on the inside here, letting that face build up. Tries to get one more snap.
Always going to be tough to ride out of wild white water like that. Nicely done for Shelby Detmers. Scores in. Carolina Mendez, we're right now in the leader with a 2.5. Shelby with a 2. Claire Bevilacqua, a.k.a. Bevo, representing Team Italy, 0.93 and a 0.37. You know, all of our surfers have, of course, very interesting life stories, but then you think of the stories of what they had to go through just to get here. Claire Bevilacqua, she lives in Australia. She's flying the Italian flag in this event. Just getting in and out of Australia for the last year has been extremely difficult. We know what, you know, the WSL went through to get those events up and running. A Herculean task. So all of our surfers, I mean, deserve full credit for just getting here. No easy task. Luckily, when they got here, it was red carpet treatment. Logistics were all taken care of. And that really alleviates a lot of the stress that goes into competition and traveling, and for a lot of us, we didn't travel for an entire year. You got to relearn, you got to get used to it. So thank you so much from El Salvador Tourism for making it easy on all of us. And now back to business. Shelby Detmer is back at it.
Shelby Detmer's a replay of that. She's happy about it. And you know what? We're seeing the biggest scores we're seeing in these last heats is like a 3.0. So anything you can get above that too, I feel like that's a score that could actually stick. Combine that with, you get 2 3s in there, I think you're up at the top 2.
All right, well, I want to see it. So as our surfers get back in the lineup, let's go down to the boardwalk with Shannon Hughes.
2.47. This is the situation now in the water. First, leading the team is Blue from Mexico. Second is White.
It was really good. My coach said me just get a lot of waves, and the waves are kind of difficult conditions right now. So I just tried to get a quick one fast, and it turned out a really good one. So I was really stoked for that one.
Congratulations. And talk to us about your health over the last couple of years. I know it's been rough for you. It's great to see you back in true form. And how does it feel to be back in competition?
Yeah, after the Pan Americans, I got mono, so it was really tough for me. It's the first time I get that long of time without surfing. And then when I was already coming back, the pandemic got us all, so it was really tough. So there's 2 years already without actual circuit and surfing, so now I'm really blessed and just enjoying my time here and surfing.
Well, it must mean a lot to you to be able to represent Peru. You've already got 2 Olympians, Luca and Daniela. How does it feel to be part of the team?
Yeah, it's so awesome. Those 2 are like my brother and sister, so we're hanging out here all the time. We support each other in every heat, and it will be awesome to get with him and with them and go with the Olympic together.
Thanks so much. Best of luck in the rest of the event.
Thank
Back to you guys.
Nice.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Melanie Gunta now.
100%. Did not know that little extra that after in Peru that she ended up getting mono and had to deal with that too as well. And I mean, you make a good point too, Chris, talking about not traveling for a solid year and a half for guys, like we're on planes all the time and the athletes are on planes all the time. To not be on a plane for a year and a half and that's what you do for a living, that's got to just kind of mess with your mind a little bit.
I'm sure people are just packing weird stuff because they're just not used to it anymore. I can't even tell you all the random items I brought down here. But, that's part of the game here. And as the world opens back up, thankfully, we're going to see more surf competitions down the line. But right now, we've got 11 minutes to go. Here in Heat 15 of round 2, Shelby Detmers representing Team Mexico in the lead. Carolina Mendez from Team Portugal in second. Claire Bevilacqua is in the 3rd place position. Taking a look at isasurf.org. They have some really in-depth bios on all of our competitors. Carolina Mendez, 25 years old from Cascais, Portugal. Praia de Guincho is her favorite break. She's riding Pollen surfboards. We know how good those boards are. We can tell, by the way, Carolina Mendez is riding them now. So Portugal, I would say, is another one of those countries that underrated for how many and just the sheer quantity of world-class waves there that go unridden because there's just so many of them. They don't worry about localism because there's enough waves to go around, and if you want to go surf 60-foot waves, they got it. You want to surf right points, they got it. Beach breaks, they got it.
They got it indeed. Look at a couple sets on the outback trying to come in with about 9 minutes and 50 some odd seconds to go. We got Shelby Detmers with 2 scores in, 2 scored waves, a 2 and a 2.47. 2 waves scored for Claire as well from Italy, but those need some work, a 0.37, a 0.93, and then you got Carolina Mendez with 1 wave score, 2.5. And it's just mixed up. I mean, catch as many waves as you can because you never know which one's going to open up and give you that opportunity to get an open face.
I'm with that. Throw strategy out the window. Go out there and surf. Do we see Carolina Mendez? I think she got the note. Look at this wave. Gets the turn, rides out clean.
Oh, man.
That was awesome. I like that. A little drama at the end of the wave.
I felt like the lip had teeth and it was just trying to get her.
A lot of teeth on that one. You're right. And, while that won't be a huge score, it could be a confidence booster. Just surviving a turn like that's got to feel good.
completely disappears in the white water and looks back and goes, okay, I came out of that one and I'm alive.
I did it, and I'm going to do it again. All of our surfers in the lineup right now, tenacious competitors, getting back out there. You know, they're doing loops, cycle, catch a wave, get right back out there, try to find the right takeoff zone. It's going to be tricky right now. You know, high tide, still pretty wind affected. We do know there are scores out there. We saw in that previous heat, Chelsea Tuak and Yolanda and Melanie Guta all getting the waves that they needed to post a couple proper scores. You know, a score in the 5 range here in the afternoon is going to do wonders for your total.
Well,
see the last women's heat of the day getting ready to paddle out.
You put a 5 up in these conditions right now, and yeah, you could almost just walk away. You could probably paddle in. I mean, you look at what Carolina Mendez just did. That drop with that lip just snarling behind her, 2.63 for that. So that's just basically a drop in that you pulled through, disappeared in the whitewater, and you still get a 2.63. And that is the highest scored wave of this heat. So it shows you that you can get points off not many maneuvers.
You're right. We've seen 5, 6s off the strength of one big turn. Of course, if you see a ramp section coming at you, we would love to see a big air, and I know the judges would too. With 7.5 minutes to go, we'll see what happens next. All of our surfers, not only surfing, of course, for the upcoming Olympic Games, but an ISA World Championship, a gold medal here at the ISA World Surfing Games is huge.
Yeah.
You know, make way on the mantle. If you find yourself here on the final day, 4 opportunities for medals: copper, bronze, silver, gold. Beautiful pieces of art that signify you are the ISA World Champion.
There's Claire getting at it here from Team Italy.
Claire Bevilacqua is a powerful surfer. You see right there, so steady on her feet, making sure the judges see that she rode out completely, and then doing what we call as surfers a starfish. There's still rocks underneath her. It's still shallow, so you don't want to do any pencil dives or head-first dives. You lay flat, and you kind of just let the wave have its way with you, and then it's over. You get back on your board, nice and safe. The starfish maneuver is recommended here in El Salvador.
That might be the best scoring wave. I see you're looking at 2.63 for Carolina Mendez. That's the best scoring wave so far. But Claire, I got to feel like that was pretty much similar to that wave that we just saw, maybe even a little gnarlier.
Yeah, Claire's an incredible talent. I've seen her getting tubed at Backdoor Pipeline. She's been a longtime competitor on both the Championship Tour and the QS on the WSL side of things. She has competed for Team Italy the past few years here at the ISA World Surfing Games. So always a pleasure to watch Claire Bevilacqua compete. Up and riding now, your surfer in white, Carolina Mendez.
I saw something hanging from the bottom of that board.
I think that might be her flag sticker. It's an ISA competitor sticker, so we have more. We'll get her a new one.
Can you make the call on that?
I will make sure she gets that. You need to have that sticker on your board when you're competing here at the ISA World Surfing Games. It's part of the rule book.
Listen to Coach.
I read it front to back before this event. So as we get back to the lineup, 5 minutes, 27 seconds to go. Surfers are getting the information they need from our beach announcers.
And checking the live scoring, too, right here on their phone.
That's a good strategy right there. Team Italy, got your whole team on the beach flying the flag.
They know what's going on. It's not their first rodeo.
They're excited right now because Claire Bevilacqua just dropped a 4.17. You were right about that being a high score. The judges loving the power approach of Bevo, as she's called by her friends.
It just goes to show that, get as many as you can. 4 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Carolina Mendez, top spot. Bevo in the number 2 spot. Shelly Detmer's out in the 3rd, needing a 2.64. Climb and scratch her way back up into that top 2, because you don't want to go to the repecharge.
No, the repecharge is like a dark alley with danger around every corner, and everyone in the repecharge is so hungry because they know that's their last chance to stay in this event. If you lose in the repecharge round, your run is done here at the ISA World Surfing Games. But for a lot of these surfers, quite the opposite. Win it and you're in it. Talking about the Olympics.
100%. I mean, you got countries on the ladies' side. Australia's already has their 2 pick. You got Brazil already has theirs. USA have theirs. But then you look at all the other countries, and there are spots available for other countries to get in. Japan has one. You got Israel has one. You just don't know, and that's why you got to give it your all and try to just break down those barriers and get there and represent. Look at the replay right here. A Bevo going to work. Nice little top turn there. Keep that nose up, and she does. Rolls away clean.
The Olympic Games always demand 5 representatives from all 5 continents. And we're seeing those spots filling up through the WSL Championship Tour and through the ISA World Surfing Games as well as the Pan Am Games. So for the women, 7 slots still left. The talent level down here tells me that those spots are going to be fought over
tooth and nail.
Tooth and nail from beginning to end. Endless rounds of action to get through before we get to our final day here in Surf City, El Salvador. Clara Bevilacqua now.
You like that fade on that drop in?
That was cool.
Letting it build up a little bit. She knows, look, that's going to that'll replace the .93.
I'd say so.
So that should, in all means, possibly put her in that top spot.
Wow, that was quick.
That was
we
quick.
have no connection to the judges. By the way, they can't hear us, thank goodness. But that score right there, 1.13, not a huge number, but enough for Clara Bevilacqua to get into that top spot. 2 minutes, 27 seconds to go. Priority is still in play, but with so many waves coming in, with the ocean as wild as it is right now, it's been nice and clean in terms of priority and positioning. You haven't seen a lot of scrappy paddle battles or anything like that. Just good, clean surfing throughout these heats. We've got one more to go after this in women's round 2. And then we're going to start to see a little bit more clarity in who is rising to the top of this deeply stacked field. 120 plus female surfers, a record-breaking attendance for the ISA World Surfing Games.
It's just nice to see that. When you look at the numbers, and when I first read that, 121 women, 47% of the field is women, that just makes you feel good. You know, you see where it's going. You don't want to see it just be a dude show. You want to see men and women represent their countries and have a chance to go to the Olympics.
Yeah, and you know, each team has the 3 men, 3 women, and then you've got coaches, staff members. Some teams are represented by 1, 2 surfers. This year, the first year ever, Team Ukraine came through.
Awesome.
Yeah, and what a story that was. I mean, so
awesome.
fun to watch. And this truly is the only event on the planet where you can see unranked, potentially unknown surfers going up against the world's best. I think we saw a heat with 2 surfers from Ireland, definitely ranked. Gerard McDade, an absolute ripper, but they had Gabriel Medina to contend with. An incredible 3-man heat.
I love that.
2 surfers flying the Irish flag going up against Gabriel Medina from Brazil. I mean, the entertainment level alone is worth the asking price of nothing. You're watching it right now for free on isasurf.org.
Toledo said, too, he goes, look, I had a Russian Federation surfer in my heat, and he had never had to do that before. So he was excited about it, too, seeing different countries and seeing people surf from all walks of life and from all areas of the planet.
I'm into it. 51 nations represented here. By the numbers, 20 seconds to go. Clara Bevilacqua in the lead, and just as I said, there will be no tactics and hassling. It's happening. All of that goes out the window. All niceties cease in the last 10 seconds.
No,
of the
you
heat.
go. You take this one.
Yeah, you see right now, Carolina Mendez is making sure that Shelby Detmers does not get an opportunity. And that's it. Clara Bevilacqua representing Team Italy gets the win. Carolina Mendez from Portugal hangs on for second place, advancing through into the next round. Shelby Detmers from Team Mexico will go to that dangerous repecharge round, where she will have a second chance to get back into this competition. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more action live from El Salvador, Surf City. This is the ISA World Surfing Games. Stay tuned.
Nice.
Tus artistas favoritos en una sola frecuencia. 98.9. 98.9 FM.
There's a right time to find your wave, and there's a right place to enjoy your passion like nowhere else.
Experience the magic of high-speed broadband.
We here at the ISA have a dream to create a better world through surfing. I think we're doing it. It's happening right now here at the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. Chris Cote here with Calais Carranza in the water. We've got another international superheat, Calais.
There we go. Tainá Ángel Izquierdo from Indonesia, Susana Berresueta from Ecuador, Stephanie Gilmore from Australia, and Eveluna Woodland from Costa Rica.
Yeah, this is a big heat right here. Representatives from all over the world. As always, these early rounds are a real treat in terms of international flavor. You know, in a lot of surf contests, we don't get to see surfers from Uruguay, Ecuador, Panama. So it's great to see representatives from around the world competing here at the ISA World Surfing Games. We're going to start with their surfer in white, Susana Berresueta from Ecuador.
She hails from a beautiful surf town, surf city in itself, Montañita. As we see out the back, live action.
Eva Woodland. Eva splits her time between Florida and Costa Rica.
Yeah, I was going to say she is a very experienced competitor at such a young age. She has done many of these ISA events, as you see on their upper left-hand corner. Every surfer gets allocated a different color rash guard, so it's easier for the judges to actually see them from far away. You can see how far away these surfers are surfing. And with the glare, it might be difficult if everyone just had to spot them based on style.
Calais, I know you surfed at a similar time of day yesterday.
That is correct.
So what are the challenges in competing here at La Bocana at high tide, a completely different wave than at low tide?
As we see on screen, Claire Bevilacqua. The challenges for me were a little bit different than what the ladies have in store today. I was out there with about 200 some odd of the world's best
big
surfers.
Training session.
So the challenge was just trying to catch a wave. That being said, when those waves do come in, it's not very clear where it is they're going to break. They kind of tend to feather on the outside, and sometimes they don't give the surfers a way in, and it breaks further in. We were talking about the difference in tides, Chris. 7-foot-ish tide swing. So now all the surfers are actually sitting right along the shoreline have to move their stuff further up. And with that, the waves are also breaking closer to shore, as you see there on screen. So the biggest challenge, in my opinion, right now for these surfers is trying to find the better waves while not being too far outside.
Well, it sounds easy on paper. But when you're out there, a totally different story. A massive playing field here at La Bocana. And as it stands now, Eva Woodland in the lead with that 2.67. Keep your eyes on surfer in the yellow jersey. She holds multiple WSL world titles. She's been a perennial competitor here at the ISA World Surfing Games. Did big things in Japan for the past 2 years. So expect greatness from one of the GOATs of surfing, Stephanie Gilmore, representing Australia. They call her Happy Gilmore on land, and she is just a ray of light. Anytime she surfs, plays guitar, skateboards, I mean, she's just one of those people that emanates, yeah, I used that word correct, that emanates joy, and you can tell she is loving life. She loves what she does. she's got the best job in the world, a pro surfer, and one of the best to ever do it at that.
I'd have to agree with you. She is such a nice, very friendly, always has time for all her fans. But she is a multi-world champion, and you don't win world titles by being nice all the time.
You're not nice for about 40 minutes at a time. Here we go, Stephanie Gilmore. You can recognize that style from a mile away. One of the, of course, greatest competitive surfers in history, but also has to be considered one of the most stylish surfers to ever do it. And, you know, this is not hyperbole. These are facts. Ask anyone in the world who's got great style in surfing, and I can pretty much guarantee you Stephanie Gilmore will be on that list. But she has no easy task right now. She's going up against some great competition. Surfer in red, Taina from Indonesia. So representing Team Indo, and all of Team Indo has done really well. I think all of their men got through their first round, and I think a couple of their women might be in the repechage for now, but Taina is a really strong and powerful surfer, so watch out, world. Here comes Taina.
She's used to power. The first wave she ever caught was in Uluwatu, and if anyone has ever surfed that wave, it has a lot of power. And at a high tide, it's kind of similar to what you're looking at right now. There's a bit of a bump in the wave. It breaks way closer in, and it carries a lot of water. You take off on the bad waves, and they're really flat. So Taina is comfortable surfing big, strong left-hand waves. That being said, the heat is very, very difficult. Stephanie Gilmore already getting a 2.83 for her second ride. So it is going to be the second best score of the heat. And the best one goes to Taina Angel Izquierdo. Everyone watching in Bali should be very, very excited to see this young lady currently beating one of the world's best. And I say the world's best, and probably one of the world's favorite surfers. You ask any young lady, they will probably put Stephanie Gilmore in their list of favorite surfers.
And mine as well.
And yours as well. Here we see Taina. This was her 3.13. So you can see how the wave was relatively soft. So she did well to just cut back, never staying too far away from the whitewater, and a clean hit on that incoming right-hander. So judging from the angle and the camera, that wave was pretty much on rocks that 3 or 4 hours ago were being dodged by surfers.
Well, Stephanie's not the only champion out there. Susana Maribel Uruzueta Limon also has a title. She's a champion nacional. So let's go down to the beach right now. We've got Shannon Hughes with Claire Bevilacqua.
Thanks so much, guys. Claire, big congratulations. That looked like such a challenging heat. Can you talk to us about what it's like to paddle out at the World Surfing Games in these kind of conditions and come out on top?
Yeah, well, it's really, really messy and choppy and all over the place, which is kind of what I'm used to at home in the stormy conditions that we have all through winter and stuff. So I was actually really, really comfortable out there. It just 20 minutes just goes so fast. It's unbelievable. It feels like 10 minutes.
So exciting. Well, talk to us what it was like to be at home this year in Australia, getting heaps of waves, but also to know that you're going to be here representing Team Italy.
Yeah, it was like exciting. It was a little bit scary to leave, you know, because of all the stuff that's happening around the world. But I'm so proud to be Italian, and I love my team, and I was just excited to come and hang out with them and surf and push myself.
Well, with your years of experience, how special is it to know that you have a chance to qualify for the Olympics?
It would be, you know, it'd be my last hurrah, you know. It's my whole life I've loved sport, I've loved competition, and I've watched the Olympics since I was a little girl. So to be a part of it would be, you know, just that would be what I've been, you know, doing it all for. So it's definitely really important to me. So we'll see what happens.
Thanks so much for sharing. We really feel that for you, and we wish you all the best in competition this week. Thanks so much, Claire.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Claire Bevilacqua right there. I mean, that is really a sentiment that's echoed from all of our competitors. The Olympic dream. I mean, this is something that no one thought possible for surfing even 5 years ago. That's when we started to hear rumblings of, you know, factual evidence that we could see surfing in the Olympics.
And commentators too. Wouldn't you have loved to be in the Olympics representing the U.S.?
Love to. Are you offering?
sorry, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
First, you have to make it into the top.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next
or
year.
Maybe next year.
4 years
The
from
Olympics
now.
every 4 years. But for some of our surfers, now, one bright spot in the pandemic era is that now we only have to wait 3 years for the Olympics.
That's right. As we see a replay of Stephanie's last ride, you can see as she bottom turns, she sees she's not going to get to the lip soon enough. So she opts to jump off inside wave. Again, looks to be, that was Susana Berresueta from Ecuador. I think they're doing the right thing in trying to stay more on the inside. It's funny how when the tide is a little bit lower, I'd say a mid-tide, it's a pretty clearly defined right and left peak. But as the tide comes up and gets closer to those rocks, it becomes more of like a kind of a high tide Kuta Bali situation where there's rights and lefts and it's not defined as to where it is going to pop. You're looking towards shore, you're trying to find two markers that you could line yourself up with, and all of a sudden the wave breaks another 10 feet over to the right. So it's just, it's luck of the draw.
Well, get this. Speaking of high tide and speaking of rocks, Taina's first wave ever was in the cave at Uluwatu on high tide.
Yep.
So her dad, Puerto Rican, her mom from Java. She was born on Bali. You can imagine what a great place to learn how to surf in a rocky cave at high tide Uluwatu. That is just an incredible story. And I mean, the storylines that we have coming into this event, like you just said, you've been in high tide Uluwatu. Does it look like this? Does it feel like this? Well, it looks like Taina's feeling really well at home here.
Oh, and Team Indonesia is ecstatic. That was an incredible wave from Taina, who I believe did not have priority. And yes, it does look a little bit like high tide Uluwatu. Look at that drop. Well and clearly over her head. That was a big wave, big drop. Stays with it. Why? She sees something on the inside. Clean cut back. Looking down at this powerful section. She knew she had to do something big. Blast that lip. You can see the fins through the water. He gets a big score. Most likely will be the best score of the entire heat.
Yeah, Team Indonesia is coming strong as well. They've got some incredible surfers. You know, I would say their team leader is Rio Waida, so close to qualification at last year's ISA World Surfing Games. I'm talking right there on the line. What do you think Rio's chances are of getting in one of those top 5 spots for the upcoming Olympic Games here from the ISA World Surfing Games?
We talked about putting our top 5 surfers on a list. Top 5 surfers that will make it into the Olympics. On my list, he's in there. And he, I think, also mentally, he knows that he's capable of doing it. As we see our surfer representing Costa Rica, this is Eva Woodland.
Eva Woodland, she's a well-traveled surfer. She has competed on every level there is. And she's just another, you know, one of our characters in this sport that just, again, emanates joy, emanates stoke for the sport of surfing. A great representative of, you know, not only Costa Rican surfing, but also East Coast surfing. I believe she spends most of her time in Florida when she's not traveling and competing. But look at beautiful style. I like the way her arms, you know, flowing. Kind of Stephanie Gilmore-esque here.
Yeah, and she was at the ISA Juniors a couple years back. Like we said, just such an experienced competitor at a very young age. And it's so important for the countries to understand that you have to send your juniors to these events. You have to let them pair off with the world's best and see where their level is at. If they realize that they are right in it with the world's best, like Rio Waida was a couple years back, in his interview he even said, what I took back from this event was that I was surfing against CT competitors. Gabriel Medina was there, Italo Ferreira was there, and I was right in it. I could have made it had I been a little bit luckier with wave selection. So mentally, when you know your level is there and you just missed out because of a few mistakes, you come back the next year way more motivated, way hungrier to get on that podium.
Question for you, Kale. I know you've traveled to Costa Rica a lot. I hear the term pura vida thrown around with, you know, every other word, every other sentence ends with pura vida. So what does that mean?
Literally translated, it means pure life. But Costa Ricans have embraced it as their motto. It's like they're the equivalent to aloha in Hawaii. They use it to say good vibes, and they usually say it with a smile. And I think that a lot of people around Latin America have actually stolen or borrowed it.
They're borrowing it for a little while, yeah.
including some friends of mine from Mexico, and they say pura vida. It's just happy vibes, good times.
I'm sure Costa Ricans don't mind. We can all use pura vida, right?
I mean, you have to be stoked when they borrow your motto. You're like, well, we hit it right.
We
on
must
the
have
head.
had a good motto. So under 4 minutes to go here. And check this out. Surfer from Indonesia sitting in the top spot now. Multi-time world champion Stephanie Gilmore is in second place. She's got a 2.97 and a 2.83, but be prepared because you know when Stephanie strikes, she strikes hard. So we're going to keep our eyes on the surfer in yellow. Eva Woodland has a 2.67 and a 2.3. She only needs a 3.13 to get back into the top two. Susanna, she needs a 3.8 priority, stands with Stephanie Gilmore in that top priority spot. She has her pick of waves. It's known as a kind of a fairness rule where, you know, it's really cleaned up surfing. We don't see a lot of hassling and paddle battling. We still get some of it, which, you know, in small doses is pretty fun to watch, but for all intents and purposes, the priority rule has really helped us just see more of what we want to see, and that's surfers riding waves the way the sport was intended to be watched.
When we were younger, that priority rule wasn't part of contest, but we'll get back to that in a second. I'm sorry, Taina. That is a challenge, not for her, but for everyone that surfs La Bocana. It has a lot of power, it has a lot of lumps and bumps in it, and when you try to gauge that inside rail, sometimes the momentum, the projection forward towards the beach is so strong that it doesn't allow you to dig that rail in and you go down, and that's exactly what happened to Taina.
Well, we've got 2.5 minutes to go here. Callie, we have 51 nations represented in this year's ISA World Surfing Games. Any nations surprise you here in the first 2 days of competition with the strength of their team?
Well, there are some clear, confident nations like Japan, but I would have to say that Peru is looking very strong. They came here with quite a bit of time, letting them adapt to the wave. Spain, personally, was one of the most well-prepared teams that I've seen. They saw the location a few months back. They rented a house directly in front of La Bocana. Not close, but directly in front, to the point where they can actually hear their names being called by the beach announcers. They can be home, chilling, relaxing, getting ready, hear their name, still have time to wax their board, walk down the stairs, grab their rash guard, and head out. And they came down early enough to know what the wave was like. Some of the competitors actually went back to the shapers and said, completely wrong choice of boards. We need some bigger ones. We need some round pins.
Wow. That's a impressive feat, Team Peru putting in their time. As you see Stephanie Gilmore now.
There's a sense of urgency in her surfing, and I like it. It's really cool to see a surfer like Stephanie, who's so used to surfing the waves on tour. You know, she has most of those waves completely dialed. This wave, not so much. She has to refine that lineup, and she had a hard time finding this wave, which could potentially be the best wave of the entire heat. Look at that surfing. Connects with the inside section. No downtime on that wave. Rides it all the way pretty much onto the rocks. So safe to say that is going to be the best wave of the heat.
And of course she does it with 30 seconds remaining. A perennial favorite. Anytime she puts a jersey on, Stephanie Gilmore was surfing for a 3.13. We're professional commentators, not judges, thankfully. That job is extremely difficult, but our judges, deep international field of judging, that they've been doing this a long time. They've been spot on throughout this entire event.
I was pretty close. The best wave of the event alongside Taina. So equal score. We'd love to see what the judges saw in Taina's to give her that same score as Stephanie's. Personally, I think Stephanie's wave was long, as you see Team Jamaica and Team Indonesia. Stephanie's wave was long, did a lot of turns, but Taina's inside section was way meatier. It was angry, it was difficult to control, and that is why those scores are pretty much exactly the same.
We'll put Taina on your list of surfers who have taken down giants. She moves through along with Stephanie Gilmore. And what a day of surfing here at the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. We started with the men here at La Bocana, but it's been women since then. some incredible surfing happened right in front of our eyes. Some challenging conditions through the end of the day, but plenty of highlights for you to enjoy. And we know that you're going to tune back in tomorrow for another incredible show.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Please don't go anywhere tomorrow. The waves are going to get even bigger. It's going to be very exciting here in El Salvador.
Waves on the way, and we're going to leave you now with a hype reel of the day to get you excited for what you're about to see on day 3 of the 2021 Surf City El Salvador ISA World Surfing Games. We'll see you tomorrow.
There's a right time for everything. A right time to learn. A right time to try. A right time to fall. There's a right time to face yourself. A right time to enjoy pleasures. To make friends. There's a right time to find your wave. And there's a right place to enjoy your passion like nowhere else.